Hi guys! So today we are going to make these gorgeous watercolor scrap cards. I got this idea from Cece, which is wonderful. She had kind of an art blog and she explained how to make these cards, how she recycles just painted bits of watercolors from her projects, and she creates beautiful cards with them. So I'm going to show you how to make these. It's super simple and they're really fun to make. So all you're going to do is get a couple pieces of scrapped watercolor paper, and you're just going to cut out a circle. Sometimes I like to practice different techniques on watercolor or with watercolors and on watercolor paper. So this is a great way to use up those scraps from practicing different techniques and drips and that kind of stuff with watercolor. Because it's kind of a media that I don't use a lot, but that I really love, and I would love to learn more about it. So it's good to experiment. So you're just going to cut out kind of a circle shape, and I like to make them in 3 sizes, so medium, large, and small. Okay, so like that would be a medium one, and then we can make a small one, and then you can make a large one. Okay, so you're just going to cut out different sizes. That's the trick. Just like that. Okay, so once you're done with that, you're going to need a pokey tool, because what's so cool about these is that they look like they're stitched, because there's holes and then there's little white thread marks on them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so you're going to take your pokey tool, okay, and you're going to make holes, okay, but you're not going to go right against the edge. You're going to do it so that it's a little bit in, maybe about, I don't know, a few centimeters away from the edge. Right? Can you see that hole? And you're just going to make them all the way around. Now make sure you do this on top of a mat so you don't ruin your surface. So if you're working on a table or something, just be very, very careful, please. This is a big mat that I'm working on, so that I got from the thrift store. That's a huge one. I don't know what this table was used for. It was probably a craft table before, but it had this nice big mat on it, which I love. So you're just going to go around the perimeter of the circle, making dots. It doesn't really matter how far they are apart. You can make them as far or as close as you want. This is an easy project. Don't stress yourself out. Just have fun. And you can even use a nail if you don't have a pokey tool. Now, you see here that my stitching is just a little bit off. So what I can do is just go in with my scissors and just trim off some of that edge, making sure that I don't go into those holes that I just made though. And it will make it slightly smaller, but that's okay. Just like that. Okay. So there's holes. Maybe you can see it better in the back. Just like if I was stitching with the sewing machine. And we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to go around the edges. Just like that. Alrighty. But these are so fun to make, and I make cards for my patrons every month, depending on which level they support me at. So, yeah, so I had to make a few cards for actually someone that isn't on Patreon, but who supports me every month anyway. She sends me a PayPal, which is really wonderful. So I made these cards for her specifically. Are those cool? Alrighty. Okay, so then you're going to make the thread, which you need a white pen to do that. So this is the Signal Uniball pen. And I'm just going to go around with this pin and make like mock little thread marks, okay, or stitches. Okay, so I go from one circle to the next. And there's not really a wrong way to do this at all. You just make the stitches however you want. You can make them a little curved. You can make them perfectly straight. You can do a combination. You can do them however you like. But the white shows up beautifully on the watercolor paper. You just go from one to the next. Okay. It gives you this really cool stitch look. Okay. Finish this one up too. Might be a little better for you to see. Just like that. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so after you're done with that, you'll also want to cut out some leaves. So I have some green paper here, green watercolor paper, and as you can see, I dripped all sorts of fun techniques on this paper. And all you're going to do is make an arch, a deep arch, okay? And then you just lift up the paper. You're just going to make a leaf shape. And again, don't try to make these perfect, just have fun. Okay, just going to take it and go around like so. Alrighty. And these make really fun gifts for people, and you can add whatever kind of greeting you want on the cards. Take it in again. I'm just going to make a fun little leaf shape. Just like that. Okay, so now we need to make the center of the flower. So I'm going to use this stack of 3 for my shapes. So I'm going to grab my Deco Arts paint pen, and this is gold, and I make a center for my flowers. Okay, so how I do that is I make a dot in the center, and then I make about 5, maybe sometimes 7 little marks. So I go like that, like that, like that. Let me go ahead and make, and that's the center of my flower. Okay, and when you're cutting out the circles, they don't have to be perfectly round. Like, don't stress yourself out. It's okay. You see mine are a little oval. They look a little different, and that's okay. And if you wanted to, you could even just do dots in the center too. Okay, so you could just do dots like that, and that'd be pretty too. Okay, so just kind of whatever you like. Yeah. So we can just do a whole group of dots like that, or whatever you want. Okay, just like that. Okay, then you're going to grab your card blank. I use card blanks. They're cheap to make, and even if I measure, I could not get it to look like this, and if I scored it too. My brain just does not measure very well. So it's something that I've accepted about myself, so yeah. So I'm going to totally cheat and use a Michael's card. That's fine. And they're on sale. You can get them for $2.50. They're super cheap, especially at certain parts of the season, like before Christmas. They normally have them on sale, or during Christmas. It's a sale that goes on all the time. So this is a metallic green marker that I got from the dollar store. And what I can kind of do is lay these out and see where I want each component to go. I like that. Okay. And I am going to trim this one a little bit because I want it to be just a little bit smaller. Okay. Just a little bit. Alrighty. So it is smaller than that pink one now. Okay. And then once I kind of gauge where I want everything to go, I'm going to make my lines. And I love this pin. I mean, I always say you never know where you're going to find supplies. So don't, look for supplies everywhere. And don't think that just because it's the dollar store, you can't use it or it's not a good product. Because I've had this pin forever and I love it. And it's a metallic pin. Okay. So look for your supplies wherever you can. Alrighty. And then once we get it laid out the way we want, we're going to add some tacky glue. Now these cards will need to be weighed down. But I just want you to look at the shape. Most of them are very oval. They're not perfectly round, so you don't have to worry about that. And even my lines for my flowers aren't perfectly straight, and that's fine. This is just a really fun kind of abstract card that you can make. But that turns out really beautiful. Okay, we're going to take that and stick that on there. Okay, and then we'll do our leaves. Okay, and I actually apply glue to the leaf, just right down the center, because what we don't want is we don't want these totally glued down to the paper. We want them to have like dimension. Okay, so I'm using tacky glue. You could use a Mod Podge, but it just works better because of the thickness of the watercolor paper. Alrighty, and I like to do about 5 leaves. Is really, I think it's balanced if you do things in odd numbers. So you have 3 flowers, and then I think 5 leaves will be awesome. Maybe the leaf wants to get stuck down there, and it's okay that they're really coming up a lot. I like to weigh these down under a big old book, and that works well too. Take that, stick them down like that, and we'll add a couple more leaves. And there's really no rhyme or reason on how you put the leaves down, just kind of wherever you feel like they should go. Part of art is trusting your intuition, so this is a good practice of that. You know, not thinking too much, just creating. Okay. Alright. That looks cool. So that's the way it looks, and then I'm going to weigh this under a heavy book. Okay. And once you weigh them down, they flatten out a little bit, but you can see they still have a lot of dimension. You know, like they still work very, very well. So once you do that, you can do one of 2 things. What I like to do at the very least is I grab my black pen and I make stems on the card. So let me grab one for you to see. And that's just my personal preference. And I do like to outline the leaves. Cece did not do that. She just let the marker and the leaves kind of be plain, which is really pretty too, but I just like those sketchy black lines. Ready? So you could just do that if you wanted, just add the black lines to that, or you could outline them. And if you outline them, then I just outline, I'll just do one for you here. I just outline around the leaves like that. And it kind of just makes the leaves pop off of the page. I think the flowers pop off more if you outline them. But as I said, it's a personal thing. And these are very whimsical leaves. They're not very realistic. So I just kind of make a V. And that's kind of how I get the veins of my leaves in, like that. Okay. And you don't have to do all of them if you don't want. I mean, you could just outline a couple too. That'd be great. Very good. Or you could just do one straight line. So it's up to you. It's just your preference. Okay. I'm going to do this one here. Or you don't have to do any outlining. You could just make the leaves and the flowers, and that would work cool too. It's up to you. It's your preference, your project. Just like that. Okay? Awesome. Okay. So once you're done with that, you are going to stamp out a greeting, okay, or a word. Okay, and I love Gina's words, Gina Aaron. She has a beautiful collection of stamps that say words, which is wonderful. So this one says smile, but I did friend before. And they're kind of doodly words, so they're really fun. And they're the perfect size for these cards. So I just have some archival ink here, black archival ink, and I'm just going to take it in. And I tend to do my greetings in archival ink. You could use regular ink too, but I am such like a messy crafter that, which you guys all know, that I'm going to get water on my hands or something, and then it'll smudge, and then I'll be really upset. So it's just easier if I limit the craziness that is going to happen inevitably. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut this out very roughly. Just like that. Okay. That was my nephew. He was asking if his mom texts back. I'm watching him today. So we're going to go around. Just like that. And I'm going to remove those little black bits from the stamp that caught. Okay? Alrighty, and then I am going to grab some double-sided sticky tape that I had. Okay, or you can use a tape runner. What did I just do with my double-sided sticky tape? There it is. Sorry guys. Okay, here's the double-sided sticky tape. Alrighty. And you're going to grab your greeting and stick it on there. So we'll take it and give it a trim. Like so. And you have a gorgeous card that did not take that long to make. And you could do it in stages if you wanted to. So hopefully the person that I made this for will love it a lot. And it says smile, which is wonderful. And you can put friend too. We'll put friend on the other one too on camera. And this one I will not outline. So let's put friend on here. And I get my double-sided sticky tape from China through eBay. It's super cheap. You can get lots of rolls in different sizes, which is awesome. Take it and you just stick one end down. And then you peel off that backing and it leaves the sticky part. And you can put the friend wherever you'd like. I think I'll put it here. Like so. And it says friend. Isn't that cute? So this is a really fun and easy way to create gorgeous cards. And as I said, the one that I made before with you guys on camera, I will weigh it down on a book. And just to make sure that everything's kind of pressed in a little bit. But it still will have that dimension. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching. I will link Cece's video below so you can check out her process and how she made these beautiful cards. And thank you for the inspiration. And I will see you guys next time. Have a fabulous day. Bye bye.